are educated to a world-class standard.
Right, a very warm welcome back. How did you enjoy your lunch? It's fabulous, wasn't it? I think I had about 12 profiteroles or something like that. Well worth it. And more to come this evening with dinner as well. I hope you're looking forward to that. Listen, we've got a couple of great things to get through this afternoon. We have got 2 breakout sessions coming up in about 45, 50 minutes' time. And they are, first of all, with Paul Fetcher. That is in Salon 3. Okay, that's on the mezzanine floor. Go through the hotel lobby. It's up there. Paul is going to be talking about the following. Is the rent too high or are sales too low? Finding a balance between the two, and strategies for getting them in line. Okay, that's what Paul's going to be talking about. Or, at the same time, Patricia is going to be talking about converting temporary tenants to permanent tenants. And that's in the Sahab meeting room, which is on this floor, just opposite the ballroom. They're coming up at around about 2:50, maybe just before 3 o'clock this afternoon. You don't need to register for those. Whichever one you want to go to those meeting rooms. The people outside on the registration desk, they can help you with that. Of course, this evening, don't forget, we've got the gala dinner, 6 o'clock for the cocktail reception, 7 o'clock. That's when the awards will start, and then we're all back again 9:30 tomorrow morning. Now, a very quick word. Did you all get one of these? Okay? There's a whole bunch of great stuff in there. So don't leave without one of these. Every delegate gets a delegate bag. It's a nice bag. More importantly, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. So I would urge you, they're right at the back of the room here. Okay? If you turn around, you can see there's a whole bank of those delegate bags. You're each entitled to one, so do please take one of those. Thanks very much indeed. Now, what a presentation this is. Someone I had the pleasure of having lunch with today to talk about the changing nature of luxury retail globally, in particular, luxury retail. And our speaker is very well qualified to speak on this subject. He joined the LVMH group back in 1995 as a sales director with the Givenchy brand. 2000, became the product strategy and development executive vice president for Montblanc. And then in 2011, he joined the luxury watchmaker Roger Dubuis and was appointed Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Roger Dubuis in 2012. It's not easy selling anything in this world, but when you're trying to sell watches that go for $250,000 or even $500,000, it is doubly so. And for that reason, the insights of our next speaker are invaluable. Will you please join me in giving a very, very warm welcome to the CEO of Roger Dubuis, Jean-Marc Pontroué. Jean-Marc, join us, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Many thanks, Richard, for this introduction. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have the pleasure to open this afternoon session to speak about this interesting subject, which is the changing nature of luxury retail globally. And I measure the chance I have to present you how a small brand, but fast-growing brand like Roger Dubuis, has been able, the last couple of years, to make retail the priority of our brand. I would like to thank you, Mr. David McAdam, for inviting us with my team here this afternoon. Despite watches, is an industry which is relatively low exposed to retail compared to other operators like leather goods or like fashion or like jewelry. Watches had started its retail revolution about 15 to 20 years ago, and we are very proud as Roger Dubuis to have grown our business from 0 to 40% of our activity achieved with retail. And we have this within a retail business which has tripled the last 3 years. The word I'm going to speak to you for this coming half an hour will be differentiation. We are in that business where there are 700 watches brands existing in Switzerland, from the big ones you all know here in Dubai to the smallest brand which exists. 700 brands. So how you can exist in that business, especially in retail, it very much depends on your capacity to work each and every segment of your business regarding differentiation. The first story in our brand is where we are having our headquarters. This is what we are used to call our Roger Dubuis Experience Center. It's our manufacture where we are 250 people to work in downtown Geneva, and where we develop all our mechanism on timepieces. We are the only brand in the watches industry to qualify all our mechanism with the so-called Poinçon de Genève. This is criteria which we have to respect to make sure we get this seal from an external company which is guaranteeing you precision, country of origin, and longevity of your mechanism. Something important is that we are a true manufacturer, meaning we are developing, producing ourselves each and every component of what we are doing. We are 100% mechanical. We don't know what is quartz in our business. And we are 100% independent, meaning we don't get any products from external companies. I am often saying except the straps, because all our straps are alligator and we still don't have alligator in our company. But except this, we are doing everything ourselves. When it comes to our production, you have to know that our business is very much driven by limitation. We are doing a lot of limited edition. I will show you a couple of them. We have the chance to get a database of 31 exclusive calibers, which in our business is something which is essential. We are not supplied by any external partners. All the calibers are exclusive to our brand. When we speak about products, and to make retail a success, we need to work on things which we don't find in any other brands. Every marketing concept, product concepts, animations, or marketing initiatives we develop in our company are exclusive to our brand, or if it looks like something which exists or has existed by another one, is definitely a criteria which is disqualifying this type of development. I will show you here how we theatralize our product concept, on how we romanticize them, associating them to any fantasy worlds associated to each of our product concepts. So each and every of our product families are associated to different worlds, which are for us as many occasions to stage these worlds when it comes to our retail merchandising, or when we are working with some of our 200 dealers we have in the world. We are using this storytelling for the development of our window display. It's the theme of the warrior when it comes to Excalibur, the theme of the player when it comes to Monégasque, the theme of the diva when it comes to velvet, the theme of the adventurer when it comes to pulsion, and passionate about mechanism when it comes to our last line, which is called Hommage. Roger Dubuis is a brand which has been known as being a pioneer in many areas, in many mechanisms. For example, our brand has been the very first one to develop what we call architectural sculpted tourbillon. You see here on the screen what is still today the bestseller of our brand. We are in an industry where research and development is very important, and we were very proud last year to bring on the market a new mechanism, which was a quatuor with 4 balance wheels associated to a new material, which is silicon, the first watch to be entirely developed in silicon, which is a very resistant and at the same time very light material. We have opened the door for mechanical ladies' watches. The tradition, and I see a couple of women in this room, the tradition wants that ladies are mainly buyers of quartz watches, and we remain in Roger Dubuis very much convinced that men and ladies should share the same type of mechanisms, and that's why we have mechanical watches for all the timepieces we are developing. Limited editions, something which is very critical in the development of our brand. You see here the Excalibur Knights of the Round Table to reuse the storytelling we have behind Excalibur for all the ones of you who know the romancing story of Excalibur. You have here 12 different knights, and each of them are different. which are representing the 12 indexes of the watch. They are all handmade, all in gold. This was a series of 28 pieces which we launched last year and which has been sold out in less than 2 weeks in the world. Finally, you see our latest complication. I have the pleasure to show it for the first time to you. This is our Minute repeater, which we launch next year. And to better discover it, I have the pleasure to show you this short introduction. So the Homage automatic minute repeater flying tourbillon, 20 pieces for the world, unveiled in June 2015, and we'll have 1 piece for Dubai. When it comes to brand theatralization, I was speaking to you that our retail development was based on specific concepts, like in products. We are used also to demonstrate our strengths when it comes to one fair during the year. There is only one fair to which our brand is participating, which is called the Salon International de la Haute Horlogerie. It's each January in Geneva, where during a week we present to our trade partners, to the press, and to our end customers what will be the next year's innovation program. And I have here a couple of pictures to show you how our brand is showing ourselves when it comes to explaining what will be the key theme of the year. And by the way, we reuse this type of theatralization when it comes to our boutique merchandising. This was SEHH 12. You see here the SEHH 13, which was having the unveiling of the Quatuor Excalibur. And you see here what was the SEHH 2014 with the launch of our latest Homage collection. Again, this story of differentiation, which to develop our retail network has been the key conductor to develop our operation. Brand engagement, and I'm very proud today to show you what has been one of the initiatives all our team in Geneva is especially proud of. The brand differentiation is not only in its products, it's not only in its brand appearance in retail, it's also in its corporate social responsibility, and I am proud to show you what is active since 2 months with the airline Emirates, which is this type of operation we have developed with them.
Bid for the ultimate collector's piece and help improve the quality of life for children in need around the world. Join in the Time for Change auction exclusively on Emirates and bid for a unique timepiece by Roger Dubuis in support of the Emirates Airline Foundation. The Excalibur Skeleton Double-Flying Tourbillon movement from Roger Dubuis, the only watchmaker in the world to have all of its precious timepieces certified with the Poinçon de Genève, a guarantee of fine craftsmanship. Emirates will fly you and your companion in first class to Geneva for an exclusive tour where you'll meet the master watchmaker. The winning bid will be donated to the Emirates Airline Foundation to support projects improving the quality of life for children in need around the world. Learn more about the Foundation's projects online and in the newsletter in your seat pocket. To enter the auction, ask a member of your cabin crew for details, or pick up a copy of the Emirates Duty Free Collection magazine on your flight.
So for all the ones of you who will travel with Emirates, you can bid more than $280,000 if you want to get the watch. We already got, after 2 months, 15 people who already have bid for this timepiece. But you know the interesting point that our brand has and will not be interested in developing business on board of planes. But when Emirates, this very spectacular airline, came to see us a couple of months ago, us as a brand of Extreme, we wanted to partner with them for this operation, from which, as it was said in the movie, all the proceedings will be given to the donation of Emirates. Again, we are still in the differentiation approach. This is in our activities. This is also what it comes to our retail expression. When you enter a Roger Dubuis boutique, some of our 20 boutiques in the world, we want you to have an experience. Not everybody entering our boutiques are buying a timepiece, but we want you to remember in a week, in 10 days, in a year, in 10 years, the moment you have been spending with us. That's why the boutique concept we have is very much built as a lounge concept. This is a boutique we have here in Emirates Towers in Dubai. We have also in the region a boutique in Abu Dhabi in Sowa Square. And we are pleased to announce that we will open in 2 months in Kingdom Mall in Riyadh, our third boutique in the Middle East. And we are planning to open 30 more operations in the next 5 years in the world, among which 25% of these new operations here in the Middle East. On retail, in our company is a state of mind, as the rest of our business, the 60 remaining % are very much driven by wholesale, which is mainly shop-in-shops, which are managed like we are operating our retail operation. And we are very proud to open in a couple of weeks our new flagship in Geneva, which will not be an additional watch boutique in Geneva. You can imagine that in Geneva we have many watch boutiques, so how to differentiate ourselves compared to what exists in Geneva. We will have a hospitality desk at the entrance of our boutique, which will drive by a special driver customers to our manufacturer, like I've shown you at the beginning of the presentation. And we will have the first floor of our new operation, which will be dedicated to bespoke programs in the watches business. The growth of our industry, when you are positioned like Roger Dubuis at the top high end of the pyramid, is very much on personalized product. You probably know that 100% of the Rolls-Royce today are bespoke cars. And when we sell watches at prices of sports cars, we believe that in our industry also, we have the chance, especially through retail, to develop also this type of personalized timepieces. Our first bespoke salon will open in 2 months in Geneva. Retail is also about exclusive products. I don't necessarily know from the industry where you're coming from, but in the luxury business, the biggest challenge we have is how to fight against discount. And what kills an industry is the fact you are strongly impacted by discount. Can be sales, can be parallel market, can be gray markets. And the best anti-discount tool we have found in our industry is to develop some limited editions only available in our retail network. Like you have seen the minute repeater flying tourbillon automatic, for which we'll have only one piece here in Dubai, only 20 pieces in the world. This is type of business where we are operating at zero discount. You see here in each of our families, and you see here Excalibur, some limited editions which we have developed only for retail network. So you can find these timepieces only if you enter a Roger Dubuis boutique. That is also valid for ladies, existing products or newnesses which are going to be launched in the coming months. Or you see it here on the more classic concept, which is called Hommage or Double Tourbillon or Flying Tourbillon on our minute repeater, which are as many concepts that people can find only in our retail operation network. And finally, our bespoke program, like I was telling you, we do about 10% of our business today with products which are unique pieces, tailor-made for customers. And Middle East customership is especially a fan of this type of program. And provided we have our own manufacture, we are able to develop even your own movement. Very few brands are able to operate and propose you a service where you even can develop your own engine inside the watch. I will finish by saying that retail is very much associated to service. It's not only a question of having the best products in the world, it's also what is the capacity in the watch industry of a brand like Roger Dubuis to be able to have service which are not the regular service you have in a watch boutique. 90% of our customers are new to the brand. And it requires us lots of customer relationship management program to specifically address these customers. Some of our customers, by the way, don't know that retail operations exist. They want to be served at their office, at their personal home, at their vacation spots, and don't go to regular boutiques. That's why we have a system of grand vendeurs, which is in place in some cities these days, following these customers where they are working or spending time. We have a system of collectors' dinners where we, in many countries, are meeting each and every of our customers personally. The direct contact in our manufacture, the direct contact in the different countries where we operate are essential when we have a retail operation in an area. Finally, it's number 1, training, number 2, training, number 3, training. And in the watch industry, we have lots of people coming from the hotel business, for example, to be able to accompany the development of our salespeople speaking to this very high-end, demanding clientele. And finally, something I don't know if it appears clearly on the screen, we have a system of mystery shopping, meaning companies that our industry is paying to be able to go in many of the competitors' environment to be able to test the quality of service in exclusive stores. You have 80 criteria of speaking, welcoming, informing a customer, the time he enters the boutique up to the time this customer is leaving the boutique. And among these 80 criteria, Roger Dubuis is very proud to be classified for the 3rd consecutive year as the best brand in terms of quality of service. And this is the price to pay if you want to long-term exist in this retail environment. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope that this differentiation approach was useful for you to understand that how, in a very highly competitive environment, a brand like us can gain everyday market share against the competition. Thank you very much.
Well, Jean-Marc, thank you, merci à vous. Jean-Marc has, thanks very much indeed, very kindly offered to answer a couple of questions before we break and go to the breakout sessions. Can we raise the lights for the auditorium, please, so I can see people, and I can see people if they've got their hands raised as well. That's fabulous. Thanks very much indeed. And do we have maybe a microphone that we can circulate around the room so that if someone asks a question, we can hear them? Anyway, it's a small room, so we can hear you, I'm sure. Listen, I've got thousands of questions, but who's got the first question for Jean-Marc of Roger Dubuis? Yes, please, David.
Jean-Marc, thank you for your presentation. The question is, how did you decide as an organization to go to that level of detail for your presentations?
Presentations in the stores?
In the stores, yeah.
Well, you know, when we operate in highly competitive cities like Dubai, but it's the same in Paris, in London, in Hong Kong, where you have a very large number of luxury operators, it was not even a question. It was a must-have if we wanted to exist and justify the increased lease which exists in many of the key cities in the world. And I assume that you have afterwards I've heard a meeting about the growing lease in key cities of the world, which is today one of the big challenges that our companies are faced with. And so the quality of service is very important. You can exist by differentiating products like we are. You can exist because you are more known than some of the other competitors, but the quality of service is essential. And especially when we are speaking to very high-end clientele, very demanding people, the best ambassadors we have in our brand are people who are customers. Because nobody is more influenced than you than your personal friends. You can be influenced by the televisions, by what you are seeing on the internet, or by the press, but at the end of the day, if someone is telling you that you have experienced a great service on board of an airline, on board of a restaurant, or any other watches brands, you will pay attention by far more than by advertising. And that's why for us, surviving in a highly competitive environment was requiring top quality of service from day one of our existence, because nothing is worse than a customer who is disappointed. Like you have friends who are going to influence you positively, the same friends can negatively impact you on a bad service, back to restaurant, back to airlines, back to a luxury store. So for us, from the very first day, we have prepared our entry in the retail business a year before starting ready retail operation. This is how we proceed in any new countries where we enter retail business.
So Jean-Marc, just following up on David's point about your retail operations, they look beautiful stores, your staff are incredibly well trained. I tell you what's the one word that jumps into my mind, and that word is expensive. It must be really expensive to maintain that level of interior fit out, to maintain your stores in high profile locations. You say your staff are very well trained, that's true. All of that comes at a price. You're the CEO. You've got to watch the bottom line. How do you balance that?
Well, you know, when you operate a luxury brand, either you have to select where you invest your resources. And we invest our resources in research and development when it comes to development of new products. We don't necessarily invest a lot in media, or I'm sorry if there are some media partners here, because it is relatively low compared to many other luxury operators. On the other side, we are over-investing compared to most of our competitors in quality of service. Maintenance, as you have said, paying the lease is another thing, and making sure that we are continuously having an eye-catching program. We want to make sure that whatsoever you are browsing in one of these shopping centers where there are hundreds of different stores existing, you are going to stop because you have seen something spectacular. Not necessarily because you will buy a Roger Dubuis timepiece, but because you believe there is something interesting to look at for 30 seconds, 1 minute, and perhaps even enter the boutique, and perhaps even buying the product ultimately. So there's a price to pay for us to really operate efficiently in that business.
Thanks very much indeed. I've got time for 2 or 3 more questions. I've got plenty, but I'd rather offer them to the floor. Yes, please, sir. There's a gentleman towards the rear of the room, towards my left. There is a microphone on its way to you, sir. The microphone's there. The man is running towards you.
Good afternoon. I noted you're very specialist, very top end. You have 3 outlets in Macau. How do you justify 3 in such a small territory?
3 boutiques in where? In?
Macau.
In Macau. Well, to reply to your question, 3 is not enough. We were not in Macau 2 years ago. It's today 20% of our business. And Macau will see the opening of 3 more Roche Dubuis boutiques in the next 18 months. For the ones of you who know Macau, it's one of the most booming area in the world. At least it was so far, because our Chinese travelers are more challenging these days. But it doesn't change our long-term view to see much more casino opening. And Chinese are known for being people who love to gamble and love to spend good time in casinos. So we have plans to have 6 boutiques in Macau by 2016. For the simple reason being that it's as hot in Macau as it is in Dubai in the summer season. And people don't go from one casino to the next one. So once they are in one casino, they stay in that resort and they do the gambling, the shopping, the restaurants, and so on and so on. So you are obliged as a business model to operate as many boutiques as you have casinos, as long as they have a luxury environment.
We have time for perhaps 1, maybe 2 more questions for Jean-Marc.
Well, we also believe, by the way, that having only 1 boutique in Dubai is not enough. So that's why we are identifying Dubai also as a spot where it's justified to have more than 1 location.
Yes, please, sir. Gentleman to my far left. Thank you very much indeed. My colleague is sprinting towards you. Thank you.
Thank you for the nice presentation. If I could ask only 1 question in regards to your customer who buy those watches.
Sorry, can we raise the volume, please, on the speaker?
I will follow up with another question, depends on your answer. Usually those customers, when they pay, let's say, $250,000 or $500,000 for a watch, is that for a self-satisfaction of wearing a very expensive watch, or is it actually to let people know that this is an expensive watch I'm wearing, so you should address me accordingly? Which one is it? This is your customer profile.
Well, basically we have, if I will catch you, 3 types of customers. We have the new customers who are people aged from 30 years old to 45, coming from many countries which open themselves to the luxury. And Roche Dubuis is especially strong in all this type of segment. We have the ladies who come to also this type of mechanical jewelry timepieces, and we have the collectors of high-end watches, which is a big community today. And these are the 3 types of people who basically are our key customers. So all the ingredients you have been seeing, the manufacture, the Poinçon de Genève, quality of service, are all the ingredients we have to be able to attract them and compete with especially all the operations which have 100 years of history, 200 years of history, provided our company is relatively young in that industry.
And to do so, you have to follow a very selective marketing strategy.
Yes.
So that, yes?
Yes.
And
in our resources, what we do is that, you know, when we operate a business like we have competitors not only from the luxury environment. We were speaking about the increase of the leases somewhere in the world. Our big competitors are Apple. Our competitors are Nespresso, because these brands, which were not in the luxury environment a couple of years ago, are taking spaces which were used before by the, let's say, regular luxury operators. So the increase of lease is not because only of the luxury operators, but also these newcomers in the shopping malls where we operate. And to continue with your question, the big challenge we have in the future is to continue our expansion in retail, having prime operation, well located, not necessarily big, but which offers this quality of spectacular service.
Thanks very much indeed. Yes, please, there's a lady towards the back of the room. Thank you very much.
You said you were going to open another 30 stores. Which markets excite you the most going forward?
Which market is impacted most by?
Which markets excite you?
Excite you the most? Well, when we see market opportunities for the future, when you are a relatively young brand, part of a big group, and as you know, Richemont is the worldwide leader in high-end watches and in high-end jewelry. I have a very easy task. I see what are the results of the 1,800 boutiques in the world we have in Richemont, and I see where we are not. And I see where there are big opportunities, which cities, which streets, which malls, and it's an easy job to see where we have to operate. Understanding your question, Middle East is for sure an area where our brand has started relatively late compared to many other luxury operators, but we continue to invest in Macau, to take an example. We believe the US is a growing area. We see still today that there is growth in this area with local population and the growing number of tourists, rich tourists going to the US also for shopping. So I would say US, Middle East, and Northeast Asia are the three regions where there are still opportunities in the future for a brand like Roger Dubuis. But it's also airport business. If you see the magnitude of travel retail operations in this part of the world, where it's basically shopping malls in which you happen to take planes, it's areas where we have a growing interest also in seeing how we could operate in travel retail environment.
I'll come to you in a second, sir. Just to follow up from that question, that was a very precise and logical and rational answer, but I want to see you answer with that smile on your face. Which market really excites you? Leave aside the strategy. Where does your heart miss a beat when you're going there?
As personal.
Personal, yes.
As personal. Well, you know, it's not to give a lot of credit to Dubai, but each and every country where we have the chance to travel, and it's perhaps a political answer, but it's fun to travel all over the world. I mean, we discover each time new territories, new people, and a lot of entrepreneurship. I mean, you are in businesses where you need to bet in areas. You need to bet on new ventures, especially in this part of the world. When you decide on a new mall or a new project, it's a lot of money on the table. So it's fun to see all this type of new entrepreneurs in the business, also new collectors. I have the chance in my job to meet every day new people who are passionate about high-end watches, and so it's fun. So to reply to your question, it's very difficult to reply why Dubai more than the US, more than France, more than Japan. It's each country has its own way to see our business, and it's fun all over the world.
We're almost out of time, but we will take final question. Yes, please.
It just follows on from that. You mentioned Northeast Asia, and obviously you're in Macau and Hong Kong, but you didn't mention mainland China. Is that because you see the high net worth Chinese tourist as your core customer, as opposed to opening a boutique in, say, Four Seasons in Beijing or Shanghai?
Well, it's a very valid question, because in the luxury environment, it's the first time in our history that we are faced with customers who are spending by far more when they travel than locally. In our industry, 70% of the purchase made by the Chinese clientele is made outside mainland China. Hong Kong is their prime destination, Macau, Paris, Switzerland when it comes to watches, and of course Dubai is a growing destination for Chinese travelers. So we take China as a very strong platform for two major reasons. Number one, presence of the brand in terms of being known. So in, of course, Shanghai and Beijing, which is about 50% of the luxury watches business, but also the second-tier cities, and also as platforms for customer assistance. We sometimes forget when you are in the luxury environment that it's good to sell to Chinese when they travel, but you have to assist them also with a fair, efficient distribution network in mainland China. Nothing is worse when you buy a high-end watch to be alone in one big city in China, and the closest boutique is about 2 hours of flight of where you are. So China remains today a key priority, but we are tempted in our industry to take that as granted, that China is a priority.
Thanks very much indeed. We've got 2 minutes left. I'll happily take one more question, or I shall exercise the MC's privilege and take that question myself. But I'll happily take a question from the rear of the room. I know it's a bit dark, but I can see you if you raise your hand. 3, 2, 1, going, gone. I get the last question. If you had one thing on your wish list from a shopping mall owner or a shopping mall operator, apart from the obvious stuff, what's the one thing that you really crave as a luxury goods company from a shopping mall? What would be on the top of your wish list?
Well, it's basically first to have a traffic which is diversified enough in an environment where you have the key true luxury operators to create merchandising areas where you have the fashion side, where you have the watches and jewelry side, where you have the local high-end goods. And for us, the good malls are the ones which are not too big. I know it's a surprise for this region, but not too big, where you have also the chance to get enough entertainment to spend time with kids, with your family, and having a quality of service in all what is concierge or in all what is assistance to make your life easy when it comes to do shopping.
Jean-Marc, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Please show your appreciation. Jean-Marc Pontroué. Thank you, Jean-Marc. Do please take a seat. Thank you indeed, the CEO of Roger Dubuis. Right, that brings us to the end of Day 1, Recon Middle East and North Africa 2014 within this auditorium, but there is much, much more to come. Tomorrow morning, we're back here for some fantastic presentations. Do not miss out on that, okay? I'll be back here tomorrow morning, and I look forward to seeing you. Before that, okay, today we have a couple of things. We have the breakout sessions now. First of all, with Paul Fetcher, we have, is the rent too high or are sales too low? Strategies for getting them in line. That is upstairs in Salon 3 on the mezzanine floor. Go through the hotel lobby. Or you have your alternative is with Patricia, converting temporary tenants to permanent tenants with Patricia Norris, and that's going to be in the Sahab meeting room just here, just outside the ballroom. Then, of course, this evening it is the awards ceremony, so do please join us. That's back here this evening. Cocktails from 6 and the awards from 7 p.m. this evening. Thank you so much for all of your contributions this morning. I hope you've all managed to learn something, to contribute. You've certainly done that to the discussion, and to make some decent context. We continue. Thank you very much indeed.